Ethan and Ryan had been inseparable since childhood. They grew up in the same neighborhood, attended the same school, and even dreamed of starting a business together one day. To everyone around them, their friendship seemed unbreakable, the kind of bond that could survive anything. Ethan was calm, trusting, and kind-hearted, while Ryan was charming, ambitious, and always full of plans. After years of working regular jobs, Ryan came up with an idea to invest in real estate. He convinced Ethan that this was their chance to escape their dull routines and finally make something of themselves. Ethan didn't think twice. He trusted Ryan completely. They pooled their savings, Ethan's hard-earned money and Ryan's supposed connections. The deals sounded perfect. Buy cheap, renovate smart, and sell high. Their evenings were spent discussing floor plans and profits. Ryan always spoke with confidence, making Ethan believe that success was right around the corner. He felt lucky to have such a smart and loyal friend. Even when small red flags appeared, missed calls, vague explanations, and delayed updates, Ethan brushed them aside. Ryan's got this, he told himself. One evening, Ryan introduced Ethan to a supposed contractor named Lucas, who promised quick renovations. Everything seemed professional: papers, business cards, even a company logo. Ethan signed the documents without hesitation, trusting Ryan's word more than his own instincts. For Ethan, this partnership was more than business. It was a shared dream. But for Ryan, it was something else entirely. Behind his friendly smile and convincing words, a darker intention was forming. The money, the trust, and the opportunity were all part of a plan Ethan could never have imagined. The foundation of their friendship was about to crack, not because of bad luck, but because Ethan trusted the wrong friend. Weeks after their real estate partnership began, Ryan came to Ethan with what he called a golden opportunity. He claimed that a property developer was secretly selling an old countryside villa at half its market value. But the deal had to be completed within 3 days. Ryan insisted this was their once-in-a-lifetime chance to double their investment overnight. Ethan hesitated. It all sounded too good to be true. But Ryan's confidence was magnetic. He spoke quickly, painting pictures of future profits, luxury lifestyles, and early retirement. "Trust me, Ethan," Ryan said with his usual grin. "We'll be rich before summer ends." The only catch was that Ryan needed Ethan to transfer his entire share of the investment immediately so that he could finalize the paperwork. Ethan's instincts whispered caution, but his loyalty to Ryan drowned out the warning. After all, Ryan had never given him a reason to doubt him. Not yet. The next morning, Ethan visited his bank and wired a large sum to Ryan's account. Ryan's excitement seemed genuine. He thanked Ethan repeatedly and promised updates soon. But within a few days, Ryan became strangely distant. Calls went unanswered. Messages were left on read. Ethan brushed it off at first. Maybe Ryan was just busy handling the deal. A week later, Ryan sent a text saying, "Everything's going perfectly. Don't worry." That single message eased Ethan's mind, though deep down, unease began to creep in. Then, out of nowhere, a mutual friend mentioned seeing Ryan at a local bar, celebrating something with unfamiliar faces. Ethan laughed it off, pretending it didn't bother him, but a seed of doubt had been planted. The golden opportunity was supposed to change their lives forever. It would, but not in the way Ethan expected. Ethan's doubt grew with every passing day. Ryan had promised regular updates, but weeks slipped by with silence. When Ethan finally managed to reach him, Ryan sounded distracted and dismissive. "Relax, mate," he said with forced cheer. "These deals take time. The paperwork's just stuck with the lawyers." Still, something fell off. Ethan began to notice inconsistencies. Details Ryan had changed about the villa's location, its seller, even the supposed contractor, Lucas. When Ethan called the renovation company to confirm the project, the number was no longer in service. A cold knot formed in his stomach. He decided to visit the property himself. After hours of driving, Ethan arrived at the address Ryan had given him, only to find an abandoned structure, boarded up and clearly untouched for years. There were no workers, no renovation equipment, no sign of any developer. His calls to Ryan went straight to voicemail. Panic began to set in. That night, Ethan went through their old text messages, looking for clues. He noticed that Ryan had avoided giving specific details in writing. The more he read, the more obvious it became. Ryan had carefully planned every step. Ethan realized that his best friend wasn't just keeping secrets. He had betrayed him. The betrayal hit deeper than the financial loss. This was a friend he'd trusted like a brother, the one who stood beside him through every milestone. Ethan spent sleepless nights replaying every moment, every smile, every promise. It all felt like a lie. Finally, Ethan decided he couldn't sit quietly anymore. He started collecting whatever evidence he could find: bank statements, messages, signed papers. But before confronting Ryan, he needed to be absolutely sure. Because once he did, there would be no going back. Ethan's heart pounded as he pieced together the puzzle. Every transaction, every meeting, and every message now looked suspicious. The deeper he dug, the clearer it became. Ryan had set him up from the very beginning. It wasn't just a bad deal. It was a calculated trap. Ryan had never planned to buy or renovate any property. The so-called contractor Lucas, a fake identity, possibly someone Ryan paid to play along. The company documents Ryan had shown Ethan were forged, cleverly designed to look authentic, but hiding obvious errors that only a trained eye could notice. Ethan realized he had been played by someone who knew him too well, someone who understood exactly how to earn his trust and use it against him. Determined to get answers, Ethan went to Ryan's apartment. But it was empty. Ryan had vanished. The furniture gone, the lights off, the mailbox stuffed with unopened letters. He'd disappeared without a trace. The betrayal turned to fury. Ethan contacted the bank, the supposed real estate agents, even the authorities, but the trail was already cold. Ryan had withdrawn the money days before disappearing. As Ethan sat alone that night, the enormity of the setup hit him. His entire savings were gone. Friends began whispering behind his back, assuming he'd made reckless choices. No one believed his story. Ryan's lies had made him look like a fool. But Ethan wasn't ready to give up. He remembered something, a backup drive they'd used for business documents. If Ryan had overlooked anything, it would be there. He searched until he found it, dusty and forgotten in an old drawer. As he opened the files, he stumbled upon something unexpected: a list of names, payments, and encrypted messages. This wasn't just a one-time scam. Ryan had done this before, and Ethan had just uncovered proof. Ethan stared at the screen, heart racing. The encrypted files revealed a disturbing pattern. Multiple victims, all people Ryan had befriended over the years. Each name came with transaction records and notes about how Ryan gained their confidence before vanishing with their money. Ethan's betrayal wasn't just personal. It was part of a long, deliberate scheme. But something else caught his attention: a recent message exchange between Ryan and an unknown contact labeled him. The messages were short but chilling. He's starting to suspect. Ryan had written. The reply: handle it quietly. A cold wave of fear washed over Ethan. This wasn't just about stolen money anymore. Someone was watching him. That night, strange things began happening. He noticed a black car parked outside his apartment for hours. Footsteps echoed in the hallway at odd times. Once, when he picked up his phone, the line was already connected, as if someone was listening. Ethan's world turned paranoid. He started double-locking doors, covering his laptop camera, and avoiding familiar routes. Every sound, made him flinch. The friend he once trusted had now become a threat in the shadows. Determined to expose Ryan, Ethan contacted one of the earlier victims listed in the files, a woman named Claire. She revealed that she had also tried confronting Ryan once, only to be followed and harassed until she moved cities. "He doesn't just take money," she warned. "He takes away your peace." Ethan realized that Ryan wasn't just a con artist. He was dangerous. The fake friendship had turned into a web of manipulation, deceit, and control. Ryan knew Ethan's routines, his fears, even his weaknesses. Now Ethan understood. Trust had made him vulnerable, and Ryan was counting on that vulnerability to destroy him completely. Ethan couldn't shake the sense that someone was always a step ahead of him. Every time he tried to investigate further, something strange happened. His emails were deleted, files disappeared from his computer, and even his bank reported unauthorized access attempts. The fear that had been gnawing at him turned into full-blown panic. One night, determined to find the truth, Ethan decrypted one of the last remaining files from Ryan's backup drive. What he discovered made his blood run cold. The mysterious contact, M, wasn't just an accomplice. It was the code name for a man named Marcus Hale, a former financial advisor who'd been arrested years ago for orchestrating scams across Europe. Ryan had been working with him all along, learning the trade, and now continuing the operation under Marcus's guidance. Ethan realized Ryan wasn't the mastermind. He was the student. Marcus had used Ryan to target victims, collect money, and then vanish, leaving Ryan to take the fall if anything went wrong. But this time, things had spiraled out of control. Ryan's greed had made him reckless, and Ethan had unknowingly become part of a larger, darker network of fraud and deception. Digging deeper, Ethan found one last shocking revelation: a recorded call between Ryan and Marcus. Ryan's voice trembled as he said, "He knows too much, Marcus. What if he goes to the police?" Marcus replied coldly, "Then make sure he doesn't." Ethan's heart pounded. This wasn't just a scam anymore. It was a threat to his life. He realized Ryan might not have disappeared. He could be watching, waiting to silence him before the truth got out. The betrayal that started with money had now turned deadly. And Ethan knew that if he didn't act fast, he might become the next name on that encrypted list, not as a victim of fraud, but as a man who vanished without a trace. Ethan knew he was running out of time. Every instinct screamed that Ryan and Marcus were closing in, but he was done being a victim. Instead of hiding, he decided to fight back, methodically, quietly, and smartly. He started by copying all the files he'd recovered to multiple encrypted drives and sent anonymous packages to a journalist and a cybercrime investigator. Then, he set up a trap, pretending to negotiate with Ryan through a new phone number and a disguised email address. He used the same tone and style Ryan would expect, claiming he was ready to let everything go if Ryan just met him one last time. 2 days later, Ryan took the bait. He agreed to meet in an old parking lot outside the city. Ethan arrived early, phone recording, car camera on, every move documented. When Ryan appeared, he looked different, tired, nervous, and far less confident than before. "You shouldn't have dug into this," Ryan muttered, his voice shaky. "You've made enemies you don't understand." Ethan confronted him, showing the printed files and recordings. For a moment, Ryan's mask slipped. Guilt flashed across his face. But before he could react, sirens echoed. The authorities had traced the meeting through Ethan's anonymous tip. As officers surrounded them, Ryan tried to run but was caught instantly. In the days that followed, investigators uncovered the full network: Marcus Hale's operation, hidden accounts, and victims across several countries. Ryan's arrest led to multiple others. Ethan's evidence had exposed everything, but justice didn't erase the scars. Ethan stood outside the courthouse weeks later, watching Ryan being led away in handcuffs. A part of him wanted to feel relief, but what he felt was emptiness. He'd won, yes, but at a cost. His peace, his trust, and his belief in friendship. The world called him brave. Ethan knew better. He'd simply learned the hardest truth of all. Sometimes the person you die for is the one who is never truly your friend.